because I didn't like that. Welcome to this exciting episode of Was It Good? We had the great pleasure of reviewing Zack Snyder's latest movie on Netflix, Army of the Dead. I'm Ravi, and I'm here with my two brothers, Christian and Arjuna. We have Mr. Michael in his producer's chair. This last week, we hit over 100 subscribers on YouTube, so a big thank you to all of you who have subscribed. I love you. And for the first time ever, if you're watching us live at youtube.com/wasitgood, you can see what our producer, Mr. Michael, looks like. Let's check that wide angle. Wow. He is a floating head.
Wow. That's so... Look at that. Woo! Did you get the wide angle installed in honor of the 100 subs? Is it like a birthday present to you?
Yeah.
Or is it the new angle on me and the new lens on me and Arjuna?
To be honest, both of these upgrades were things I've meant to do. I've just been insanely lazy.
Coincidence.
It's just a coinkydink.
Okay.
It's one of those things when you're working on a project and you back up with like pieces and then you just kind of do one and then you do them all.
Yeah.
So
Makes
one of
sense.
those things.
So you're saying now that we have a vanity URL for YouTube, we have officially made it.
And we should start
Yes.
putting effort into what we look like.
I mean, for you two especially, this is a better lens. You're way sharper than before, so
Yeah, maybe
yes,
too sharp. Now
yes.
I'm worried for all the boogers. Hello,
We figured out the sound quality issue. Like, we sound really good, I think.
We do.
What we say may not be logical or
Probably
make any
not.
sense,
No.
but we got half of this down.
We're almost there.
Well, we've almost made it. Speaking of things that, making it, Zack Snyder made a new movie.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
What happened?
Let's before we jump into our usual slew of things, one word impression, our juniors DVD chapter listing, unanswered questions, the future, and then bold predictions. What's the story behind Army of Dark? Or see here, for fuck's sake,
Army of Darkness. This is what we want.
Army of the Dead. For some reason, I keep wanting to say Army of Darkness, which is a fabulous Sam Raimi film starring Bruce Campbell, but we're talking Army of the Dead starring Dave. How do you say it? Bautista?
Bautista.
Bautista.
Bautista. I like Bautista more.
Bautista. And
There's no R in there.
there's no R in there.
Great.
But yeah, how did this happen? Does anyone know?
Yeah, so he had this
Idea?
he's had this script for a long time, like since before he made his debut film Dawn of the Dead. And I think he touched up on it when he was making it, and then he started to pitch it around then, and then it seems like it was in development hell for multiple reasons, for them pulling it, for the studios not being ready. And I think Deborah, his wife and producing partner, said, like, we had the first script and, we weren't ready for it. And then, the last few years it came to Netflix and they kind of rewrote most of the script.
Ooh,
And created
the original one.
and created what we got, what the final thing was, here in 2021. So it's been gestating for a long time. It seems like there was a few different people attached to it. It wasn't always supposed to be Zack Snyder that directed it, actually. So there was a different director attached at one point in the mid to late 2000s, and now we are on. Why are we laughing?
Sorry, this huge interruption. So for our listeners, so as you know, we do live stream our podcast and we do create overlays. And as you may have heard earlier in the pod, I screwed up and said Army of Darkness, not Army of Dead or Army of the Dead. I am the one responsible for our graphic overlays, and I guess it did fuck up, or I did fuck up, because our overlay was showing Army of Darkness, which is not what this is about. It's Army of the Dead, for fuck's sake.
I know. I think based on how good / bad this movie was, you can be forgiven for trying to erase the title and replace it with a better, happier time.
Look, it took Zack Snyder 18 plus years to get this movie made, so it can take you 18 plus years to get the title right.
Yeah. There you go.
Army of the Dead.
Yes.
Army of
Not the living,
Dead.
the dead.
Not darkness.
AOTD. Atod.
Attack on Titan. Duh.
But Army of the Dead. So that's interesting. So he got this made somehow, and Netflix
Jumped on it.
Jumped on it.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I did find kind of interesting with this film, amongst other things, the character who plays the pilot, I'm gonna mess this one up.
Tig
Notaro. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this. She's a recast.
Correct.
A couple $1 million recast because the original actor
Chris D'Elia
was
the comedian.
the comedian was obviously kind of kicked away because of terrible bad things that he's done. So the Schneiders stepped away from him and then did all these reshoots. So a lot of her scenes are obviously reshoots and then digitally inserted
Because the reshoots happened during the pandemic.
Yep.
So they couldn't actually
get people together.
get her together. Dave Bautista even said in an interview he hasn't met Tig. He hasn't met her yet in person. So he said that was the one thing that actually bothered him about the movie, that he hasn't even been able to meet her.
That's interesting.
And that was something I knew before going into the movie, but I don't know if either of you guys knew it.
I
Did
didn't
you
know that
notice
until afterwards.
Yeah.
It was definitely weird. I think I was texting with someone else and they were saying that there were shots that seemed kind of out of focus or kind of wonky.
Yeah.
And it makes I mean, definitely the whole movie is a little interesting, but there are definitely shots like when Dave or Scott, as his character is called, goes to actually meet her for the first time post intro credits, and they're at an airstrip. She's behind a fence. If you look at that shot and go back, you can kind of tell it's a little wonky and weird. So that's interesting. So,
Yeah, that's how I just recruit my pilots, behind a fence.
behind the fence, yeah.
Yeah.
Safety.
Yeah.
COVID.
Safety.
It's also another thing that's interesting is this was obviously written 18 plus years ago.
The first draft.
The first
they
draft.
said they rewrote a lot of this.
But I think
Right
the
around
initial concept, right, of zombie and infection
And heist.
In Vegas.
in Vegas, I think that was there, or at least the zombie aspect of it. But I thought it was interesting. Obviously, this has been released post-COVID, or we're still in the pandemic, but we're hopefully getting to the end of this pandemic. I thought that was kind of interesting that we're seeing these types of movies again,
Sure.
and it's acceptable.
And there's a lot of parallels to like the pandemic too, with like quarantines and camps.
The temperature guns.
and
Temperature
fears
gun,
and all
temperature
that
gun
type
for
of stuff.
sure.
Yeah.
Which I thought, and abuse of power,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
but
sure.
that's always there.
And nuking places.
We have.
That's a
Wait.
universal theme.
What the hell?
Did any country were they gonna was China gonna nuke Wuhan or some shit?
No, I was just talking,
Oh.
nuking in general.
Oh, God.
Oh my god. Oh god. But let's get into kind of our general rundown here. So one word impressions. When we look at the movie or the viewing experience, what one word impression would you give to sum up your experience? I already have mine already kind of prepped. Does anyone want to go first?
I can go first.
Oh, go for it.
Mine will be short and sweet. My one word was why.
Oh.
Interesting. Nice.
Wow. Okay, you're going to love my one word.
The word or the letter?
The word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, why? Why was I watching this movie at 9:30 at night on a Sunday? Why? Why? Just there was a lot of whys.
my
There was a lot of why. Why was it 2.5 hours? Why? Why?
Why? I like
Why?
it. I like it.
That's what I'll leave it there.
Nice. My one word impression is how. It's very similar. Like, how was this movie made? Like, how was it greenlit? How did Zack Snyder do this? Where just a few short months ago we saw the Snyder cut of Justice League. It's just my mind was just like, how can a director be this? I don't know if
hot and cold.
inconsistent, hot and cold, or
Have you heard of M. Night
go
Shyamalan?
from really, really good to really,
The same way
really
he made
good to really
Watchmen,
good,
and then
you
he later made Sucker Punch.
I
I
never saw Sucker Punch. Yeah.
You guys should be happy that you can see Sucker
Nice.
I mean, it has a cool visual look to it, right? But I'm assuming the
Yeah.
story is the thing that kind of sucks.
He did say there is a Snyder cut of that.
Oh my God! Of course.
No.
I hope there's a Snyder cut of Army of the Dead.
Well, no. Remember, Netflix
I know.
tweeted out and said what? They said this is the Zack Snyder cut.
For anyone wondering. Yes.
That's why it's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And why it took 14 years to make.
My theory is that this movie is so terrible or so kind of rushed towards the end for two reasons. Number one, pandemic.
Yeah.
I think played a big factor.
Yeah.
And then number two, I want to blame Justice League and Warner Brothers. I want to say I'm wondering. I'm sure there is some kind of overlap in terms of where his focus was between this movie and with stuff going on with the Justice League Snyder Cut. So if you're Zack Snyder, like, and you've been presented 2 bags, right? One from Warner Brothers and one from Netflix.
Like
Which bag do you think is bigger? I think the Warner Brothers one's bigger.
No, 100%.
Yeah, so you're gonna
Well,
focus
he
more
didn't
on
take
that.
any money for the Snyder Cut, though. He did that for free.
No, come on.
Yes, he did because he wanted his vision to be. He wanted his vision to be completed.
Passion
So
project.
that was zero. So that bag was empty. And we know Netflix plays a ridiculous amount of money for any and all projects. And they didn't just front him for this movie. They fronted him for the prequel movie that's already been filmed and the anime series that is coming as well. So they gave him like
3 bags.
a universal deal, in terms of build us a universe. Build us the real Schneiderverse.
So basically what we're saying is if you want Zack Snyder to make good content, don't give him money.
Yes. Make him earn it.
I have a theory about Zack Snyder. He's really good with
Not having money.
No, he's really good at adapting content. Everything that he's seen that we've seemed to have enjoyed is an adaptation of something. His original stuff, I feel like, leaves stuff to be. I haven't seen all of Zack Snyder, so that might be a bad take. I'm not sure if that's even totally accurate. But if I just look at what I like, Watchmen,
Zack Snyder,
Justice
300.
League, 300. I believe all that stuff is adapted.
Triple Frontier.
That wasn't Zack
He has
Snyder.
nothing to do with that.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Well,
Dawn of the Dead even is
Affleck's
a
in Triple
remake.
It's a
Frontier?
remake, yeah. So it seems like when he has
Source
something
material to
in
work with.
place, he can take it and he's like faithful to the
Take it and go.
image, takes it and runs.
But when
with
he
it.
writes it himself by himself with no support, it turns
Potentially.
into
Army
this.
of the Dead.
Why doesn't he team up with Jonathan Nolan? I heard he
Jonathan
doesn't
Nolan?
work with Chris Nolan anymore because his brother's a dick.
Wait, what? Is this real or
No,
made
this
up?
is rumors of. This is reckless speculation.
You're
They
just
haven't
making
worked-
this up. Yes.
They haven't worked together in a long time. Yeah.
Jonathan and Chris.
Well, because Jonathan's been doing Westworld and some other
Right.
TV stuff,
Right.
and
He's doing humanitarian work while Christopher Nolan is doing.
Christopher's like, get in the theaters, die.
Hey, to tie it back into to tie it back into like a trailer that was just released, Eternals.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Nolan is like an Eternal, and Christopher Nolan is like a deviant.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, so Jonathan Nolan just let the world, half the universe get snapped away and was like, no, we can't do anything.
Technically, the Eternals did that as well.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
So-
Jonathan Nolan did that.
Yeah, so we don't know. Maybe they all got snapped away because they're still part of the universe, I think.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, it's a movie. Who cares? So my one-word impression kind of ties in both nicely with what you both have said.
Please tell me it's what.
No, mine is regret.
Oh.
Couple reasons why. Regret.
Wow.
Number one is I regret watching this movie. Number two, I believe we had The Habit last night for dinner. Regretted that.
Habit Burger?
No,
You
because
said it was good.
It was good, but I had the jalapenos. So I regret.
poppers?
Yeah, I regret having those.
A little jalapeno popper on the way in and on the way out.
Not poppers. Just regular jalapeno.
I regret also having to do a pod on this because I fucked up the overlay. That's gonna haunt me forever. And then tying it directly to the movie, I'm sure like Dave Bautista also regrets this movie because he had a shot at working with James Gunn in Suicide
Again,
Squad,
yeah.
and
His friend.
Turn that down, huh?
decided to do this. But it kind of, I guess this is a movie where he is the front runner.
Yeah.
He's the main
Part of the
character.
reason he probably said
Right?
that. And he also was adamant. He was frank and honest about
Yeah.
in the interview. He was like, they also paid me more.
Yeah, I mean,
Make that money.
yeah. Well, I wonder if he saw some of the artwork for the film and was like, because when I don't know if you saw the neon poster. I got very kind of like Fortnite vibes from it. I wonder if he saw that artwork and was like, "Oh my God, Gen Z will love this movie."
I'm not gonna lie though. The concept itself is
a great
horrible.
idea.
Actually, if someone's pitching me that idea, like
Yeah.
zombies in Vegas,
Heist.
pseudo heist with zombies, I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, I'm in.
I mean,
I'd
the
be
movie
in.
starts like when they're first talking to the main person who's kind of running the whole operation, Scorpion.
Get over
The character's name is Bly Tanaka.
So they did it basically. They did the Ocean's 11 thing, right? Where they're explaining what is going on and what is going to happen, and then doing the cool, cuts and all that fun stuff. Fun fact, Junior, real quick.
Yeah.
I just watched Ocean's 11
For the first
for
time
the
the night
first
before.
time. The
the
night
literal
before.
night before.
Did you
watched
like that
Ocean's
more
11.
than this movie?
I did, but I did have one problem with that movie.
God.
and I'm going to keep bringing it up because I think it's fascinating. So I watched a 2001 film through the eyes of 2021.
Sure.
Right? The last 20 years have happened.
Yeah.
A lot of terrible shit has happened.
Sure.
How movies present the world are also very different.
Yeah.
There's the entire sequence where they use the EMP blast to knock out Vegas's power, and I just couldn't get over that. Like that destroyed kind of the make believe, if you will, and just it felt super unrealistic because in today's world, you're not gonna. There's no way in hell you can go to a science college and just take an EMP because they're not set up like that.
It's a 20-year-old movie.
Yeah.
And to put it in context of how old the movie is, when we first moved to the United States in 1998, a 20-year-old movie then would have been 1978.
That's crazy.
Which I remember specifically when we were kids. Any movies that were made in the 70s or even the early 80s were like, ew, this is old.
And stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what Ocean's 11 is.
Old and stupid?
Yeah.
I feel it holds up, though, because they did the Ocean's 11 thing in Ocean's 11. I don't know why you're laughing.
They did the Ocean's 11 thing in Ocean's 11?
Yeah. You know, when they talk about what they're going to do, and then they do it, and then there's like the double, triple, quadruple Final Frontier cross. Get what I'm saying? All right, let's
Bernie Mac's great.
Oh man, Bernie Mac, dude, missed that guy.
It's a big reason they never made an Ocean's 14 because he passed away.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back into something more happy. Arjuna's DVD chapter listing. Marshall, no. And Krishna is always just going to read this DVD chapter listing. Now, Arjuna spends a lot of time and research. He builds spreadsheets. He does research, marketing, testing groups. The whole
he does
the whole thing.
Yeah, he actually puts polls up, and it's getting feedback from the community.
Yeah,
we should do that for one of the chapter listings, like a little Twitter poll.
That'd be kind of fun.
You should do that.
Krishna is going to go ahead and read this, and he's going to do it in the voice of everyone's beloved animated YouTube series, the D&D character who loses, was it son or is it rat? He loses his rat. Marshall, no.
Oh, man.
So,
But also
please.
his son, right?
I don't remember.
He does lose his son, too. Because he's like, well, you can tell my son to come home.
Oh, no, Marshall. So, Krishna, take it away.
Oh, God.
Marshall. Deadhead. Snyder Taj. Avengers assemble. Shades is still a creep. Tigers, alphas, and death. Time is a flat circle, Marshall. Everyone dies. No. Sequel to more zombies. No.
That was your best one.
I should have just cried.
Real quick, that's gonna be a clip that we put out.
No,
you're gonna cut that, and then you're gonna cross as you're saying it. Slowly zoom in on your face, and then have the rat showing up like crossfaded.
Marshall.
That was good, Arjuna. An interesting chapter. This is just usually for a feature length
Judah
film.
actually told me something very shocking about this before we
let's
went
hear
on
it.
air. He said he has never put so little effort into a chapter.
I said, this is what I said. I put in as much effort into this as I felt was put into this movie by all involved.
I think it's interesting, like
all involved?
when you look at your DVD chapter listing, you're pretty it's pretty accurate in the first 2/3 of it, and then you hit time is a flat circle, which is where which is the character.
Amari
Hardwick's character.
He basically they're in the vault, and they see other soldiers because clearly another team was sent in before them, and he has this very
Weird
kind of
monologue,
funny little discussion where he's like, well, maybe we're just doomed to live this out over and over again. But then that's
like
that's your third to last chapter listing. Then you do everyone dies, and then there's sequel 2.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment when he says that, there is still roughly 45 minutes to an hour left of the film.
And
so
no
you
one cares.
condensed an hour, like majority of the film, into 2 chapters.
Everyone dies, I think, encompasses most of
Pretty
that
much
last
everything.
hour
That's
because
exactly what it is.
everyone literally dies.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like the least surprising thing in the movie. Like it's not like you knew going in. They probably had about 11 people go in, and you knew probably 2 of them would come out. I was wrong. Only 1 of them came out.
When I was watching with Sahara, we were like making bets of like, all right,
Yeah.
who's the first gonna die? Like, how are they gonna do the ordering? Like, I thought like they're actually gonna kill like one of the quote unquote pivotal characters first, like the German hacker to get into the vault and have to figure something out, or the pilot was gonna die early because like you would think those people would survive until quote unquote their tasks were complete. But it went the very traditional route in the ordering. I feel like. The funniest death, I will say, the funniest part of the movie that had me almost in tears was when the first character that he recruits, Maria Cruz, and him are in the vault, and they had the terrible aside where all of a sudden she's like,
I love you.
I thought we were gonna make it. And
Out of left field, totally out of left field. I'm like, I didn't see that.
He's like, I don't know why. And he's just like, I ran away. I couldn't do it. I fucked up.
I mean, he had a wife that he murdered. Well, had to because she was a zombie.
We don't understand if they were married or not, or like, there's nothing of that. Very clearly established.
Yeah.
It's not clear 100%. If they were married or they were active or whatever, or even how much time has passed.
I'm sorry, Arjuna, what does active mean?
Actively in a relationship. Actively in a relationship.
I mean, they have a relationship. They're friends.
But here's also the other thing. Like, here's one thing that actually messed me up before I go back to this point, was the time between the outbreak and like how long they had been there. Because I thought it was just a few months, but then they were like, it's been a few years.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? It was not
That
clear.
makes sense because the daughter had blonde hair in the intro, and then when they see her, she's a brunette. So time.
Yes.
That's your only clue.
No, not really, because I asked you, I was like, who the hell is this girl? I had no idea.
I know. You were like, wait, was that the wife? Wait, because he goes confused with the blonde thing. It was actually hilarious because he's like, wait, who died? Was it the daughter or the wife? I'm like, I think it was the wife / girlfriend / live-in roommate.
So Maria professes her love, and then he's like, yeah, I fucked up. And like, maybe it's not too late. And then it's like, the daughter's gone missing. She's like, I'll help you find her. And they're like, then the elevator comically opens and she gets her neck twisted
180
and Dave
degrees.
Bautista's just like, no! And then that's it. Like,
Yeah.
comically horrible.
Yeah, it was strong. I mean, both me and Ari went, oh, like if we're in the theater, that would have been like the one part where everyone would have been in the theater like, oh my God. Like, it was like the only shocking part of the movie. Like, I honestly
Yeah,
didn't see that.
definitely. Like, it was like, to me, that was the most gruesome part because you could see her spinal cord popped out. Like, that was pretty gross.
Mortal Kombat-esque.
Mortal Kombat, what like that? Because it was just so like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like, hey, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
While Mortal Kombat, you're expecting it to happen.
That's true.
But this was just like, wait,
I
what?
was like, Maria, no.
So stupid.
Yeah,
but speaking of like movie theaters, do you think if we had seen this in a theater, it would have been a more enjoyable experience, or do you think you still would have been sitting there and be like, can we hurry up? I want to go home.
I think it would have been worse.
I would think it would have
Because we took when we were watching, we took like 3 breaks.
Yeah.
I took 2 breaks.
Yeah.
Once to get my food.
Yeah. So like the movie had slow boring parts.
Yeah.
Like I was just, and some of it's just straight up boring. Like, and I was just like, man, can we get through this? Can we hurry up? And when you're like that at any point during the movie, that's not a good sign for the movie. And it happened several times. I was like,
Also,
it's not good. It's not good.
There were some parts that just didn't look good. Like it just looked bad. Like some parts
like
did
the
look
parts where the whole thing is blurry and then the subject comes in a frame for half a second of the 5-second shot.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to being blurry. So 4 out of the 5 seconds is just
Blur.
That should have been someone's one-word impression.
Blurry.
That should have been mine. I'm sorry, I failed. It's okay. Wait, it'll be a pseudo one word. It'll be our collective one word. It'll be Michael's one word, maybe. No, it won't.
So obviously there's a lot to like unpack in terms of terrible parts, but I think instead of wasting our time there, I think we can universally say there was a lot wrong with it. Yes. But what more interesting, first off, before we get into this section, did anyone actually enjoy any aspect of this film?
Yes.
Besides the ending?
Yeah, there were still some parts that I thought were at least interesting. I liked the idea of and of course I'm still confused on it, so perhaps we'll discuss this. But like the zombie king guy, and the fact that he seemed to have a wife person, queen, and that there was a pregnancy, right? I'm like, that's an interesting idea, like zombies giving birth and maybe creating a new zombie race. I thought that was kind of interesting. I liked some of that stuff, like how they moved, the sound design around them.
Did you like their screams?
Yeah, their screams were, that was cool. That was cool. I was like, yeah, that's interesting. So I wish they had gone, given us more there, because it was still pretty shallow at the end of the day. But
don't worry.
I thought it was interesting.
According to Zack Snyder's wife, he's written a whole Bible about everything around this universe and about the origins, and there's even some other, which we'll get into in our unanswered question.
Well, you're gonna bring up your Captain America theory.
Here's the thing.
A lot of stuff.
Here's the thing. Let's dive into the head honcho zombie guy, right?
The Alpha.
The Alpha zombie. So the movie starts with a guy getting a blowjob, and because
That's
of
why
this,
Deadhead.
huh?
Deadhead, because instead of he was dead and he got head. Deadhead.
So anyway,
they're all deadheads. It works on multiple levels.
So they run into a military truck, and then this zombie, this head honcho, runs out. He's military because he has dog tags, and he's actually wearing, I believe, in the first opening shots, he's wearing camo pants. Right. So he's military. At some point later in the movie, we see him wearing a helmet type thing. My theory
and a cape.
My theory is that he is basically supposed to be Captain America gone wrong.
So a super soldier gone wrong, right?
Yes.
And then there's a lot into that. The military is transporting him.
Yep.
There's also the theory, at least from the two characters driving the first car in the transport, that he could be from an alien. He's an alien, right? Because they're coming from Area 51.
Yep.
There's aliens. Zack Snyder in an interview, now maybe this is him throwing people off, but even mentions like, are they from a different world? Like he threw that out in an interview to kind of feed flames to that theory.
I like the idea that he's just taking a big laugh at like Captain America and super soldiers.
Maybe.
I mean, that to me makes it more, ties it back to Earth and everything, but also you can utilize with that government the failures of government, how they handle the situation. I thought it was kind of interesting and comical. What was it? The president of this army of the dead world wanted to nuke Las Vegas July 4th because the fireworks would be so spectacular.
Right. Well, we know the real reason that they're in there is not for the money. It's to get the blood sample
or the head
of these alpha zombies, so they can control it, right? So it's almost like
create their own army.
They're recouping what their assets that they essentially lost and destroyed Las Vegas.
Yeah, because it was Bly Tanaka.
Yes.
You see that show where he's talking to generals or some military folks. So
right,
quite interesting. But beyond theories and things of that nature, there was a big problem with this film, that is the amount of unanswered questions that we, plus others, I think, have when you watch this film. Let's just start with a couple easy ones. Did Geeta die?
Yes, even though we don't know that for sure.
So Geeta obviously is
she did.
Is Kate Ward's friend in the camp.
Her whole reasoning for going in there,
for
even the last part of the third act where they fly to the hotel to get the daughter who's getting Geeta, and basically the reason that two of the last four characters lose their lives.
Yeah. And we have no idea if she survived. Most likely not, because the helicopter crashes and
and the whole front is like destroyed.
Yeah.
Tig's character, the pilot, is dead, so she's probably dead.
So we don't know for sure.
She could appear in the sequel.
Are there robots?
What?
I mean, wait, I'm confused.
So you guys didn't. So there's a shot.
Yes.
That Zack Snyder talked about specifically in the last third of the movie when there's Scott and two of his friends whose names, don't ask me to remember their names, are running through the casino floor and they're shooting the zombies. One of them, in a quick shot, appears to kind of look like a robot.
Really?
They shoot his head. It kind of looks like there's some circuitry and there's some blue and he glowing eyes, and he falls down. And Zack Snyder actually talked about this in an interview. And he's like, he actually asked the interviewer, He's like, did you notice the robot?
Oh my god.
And what's the point of the robot?
Zack Snyder's like, it could be a lot of things. It could be, maybe it has to do with their otherworldly origins. He said, maybe it's, it has to do with the government sending in monitors to monitor these zombies.
Okay.
So he
something
sent in robot zombies.
He's essentially, so Zack Snyder, like he does in all his movies, right? He loves to build worlds. He's a world builder. He clearly plays a lot of D&D. He just loves to build these living worlds with lots of mysteries and intrigue and answer none of the questions of what any of it actually means.
I did notice when after Zombie King's girlfriend gets her head beheaded, and he pulls out the fetus and he's walking through his crowd of zombies. One of the zombies had glowing blue eyes. Pretty prominently. But I was just like, oh, that's just a weird mutated zombie.
Well, Schneider says there's a few shots, right?
Yeah.
That's
the one I noticed.
That's the most notable shot is the casino floor one, but there's probably certainly others in there, like maybe like the one you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And probably many more which won't be discovered because I
doubt in some of the interviews he did, he says that we'll discover more of these things in the animated series.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of unanswered questions.
Oh yeah, here's some more. Aliens.
Right. So the aliens, like we talked about at the beginning, and if there's are they extraterrestrial? We don't know. Maybe again, that's more teases to watch the anime show.
The fetus was glowing.
It was purple. The fetus was purple.
I figured that was just a malnutrition zombie.
Yeah, I thought it was just the cold blood.
Are they actually alternate dimensions?
Are there? It's a typo.
I know. I just said it how it was written.
I mean, that one's, probably not, right? Because outside of the little story, there doesn't seem to be, but
I hope the
Zack Snyder, though, seems to be doing his own market research in all these interviews. So he's just trying to see what sticks. he's actually interviewing the interviewers to see what their reaction
What they
is.
actually picked
so
up
that
on?
he's going to be like, okay, so they didn't like the robot idea, but they seem to like so that's what we're going with. He's doing his own market research. You love it.
It might be. I mean, he's certainly put out a lot of stuff of like, what are people gonna?
Yeah.
Do they want to know more about the
aliens,
burgers?
Or the burgers?
The zombie fetus, did it actually survive or is it donezo?
I think it's dead.
And
I
here's
thought
the
it was
question.
dead.
It's a zombie. Isn't it already dead?
Yeah,
so then
so
how
is
could
it
it be alive?
So is it dead or is it undead?
Right, because zombie rules are you gotta kill the brain or it's
Right.
still alive.
Or is
the queen was still alive until the head was dropped.
Yeah.
And she was
She was dead.
She was smushed.
Yeah.
Did you notice the actor change?
What?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I think there were a couple areas where it was a little obvious, but unless you knew it going in, I don't think it was that obvious.
Sure.
And then the biggest question, and I want everyone's reckless speculation theories here. Why was this movie made?
Because Zack Snyder, he's still a draw. And again, I think there is a good idea in there somewhere. Several ideas. It's just, the execution, the cohesiveness of it didn't quite come
Here's
through.
a question I have for the two of you. Ken Schneider, with his prequel movie, his anime series, and maybe any other follow-ups, potentially Star Wars this and fix this movie by answering some of these lingering questions and giving more context.
Yes.
To certain
I think so. I think he
I
can.
think I definitely
He's already proven he's good at revising things.
Yep.
And I think if he's given the chance, he'll make it better over time.
Yeah.
Right? He's proven that he can do
What will make this better?
I think
What specifically it to focus on? Would it be more on the characters that actually enter?
I'm sorry,
are you? I'm Zack Schneider.
he's doing
are you doing market research for Zack Snyder right now? Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Time loop.
Yes, to all of the above. The answer is yes.
Honestly, I thought one of the more interesting parts was the montage, like
The opening, the intro.
Yeah, which is honestly kind of true for a lot of Zack Snyder movies with his opening montages. I feel like they're very interesting, and then he doesn't focus on those parts.
He's really good at music videos.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
Like they have the whole character. Like there's a character that's part of their group that gets crushed with the little girl.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole story there that doesn't really come into play for this movie specifically, but maybe the anime series.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I think he set up a bunch of stuff, right, for some kind of the animated show.
Are we not going to touch on the last scene of the movie?
Oh yeah.
The plane.
The plane, and
That's probably honestly.
our guy got bit, and he says something like "oh shit," and
I thought you said it
that's it.
figures.
oh yeah, it figures it doesn't matter. But he's on a plane leaving the area.
Go to Mexico
He's
City.
infected, and he survived a nuclear, a small nuclear bomb. So radioactive zombies.
I think he's the new alpha.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, because he's the only because he got clearly bit by one of. Well, I guess you have to be bit to be an alpha or a top one. You have to be bit by
might have
the
been,
main guy.
Which
remember,
he
was
had
in-
that fight.
He was
with
having the
him.
fist
Yeah,
fight.
that's
so
true.
He
So he probably got
might have
bit by
been.
him.
So then, yeah, he's going to be the new alpha
Yeah.
in the sequel that
Time is a
happens
circle.
in 5.
In Mexico City.
Maybe he'll have a zombie. Maybe he'll be a zombie with time travel powers.
That's the third one. They want to make 2 and then do time travel.
Nice.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yeah, we're gonna do a robot one
Yeah,
in
why not?
between. Robot zombies.
So, Christian, so obviously the Army of Thieves, which is a direct prequel to this,
Oh yeah.
has already been shot.
Yeah.
Finished principal photography already.
Yeah.
It's going to star
Matthias
Schweigelfer, who played Dieter or the safe hacker.
Safecracker.
The safecracker.
Yeah, yeah. The crackhead.
And this film, do you know the premise has already kind of come out?
Yeah, I actually don't know anything.
So the premise of this film takes place before,
Okay.
and it's going to be about his thieving adventures.
what?
But it's more at the beginning of this outbreak, is what they're saying.
Oh.
And because of because there's these, zombies in Las Vegas, it causes the, money to be moved around pretty quickly, and a lot of unstabilization or in the world economies, which creates an opening essentially for this group to steal money.
So it's going to be a
So it's gonna be
heist movie.
It's gonna be a pure heist movie with zombie stuff happening on the news.
Yeah.
basically. It's on the TV
Because he has no
screen.
experience with zombies. That much.
Unless
is
that's a
clear.
lie.
Yeah. Because he clearly has some ability with a
With a
weapon.
pistol, yeah.
Yeah, but that's from
He
his
was a pretty good
That's
shot.
from his thieving heists.
Well, maybe
In GTA, you have to be able to, to shoot stuff. So, that's makes sense.
And Matthias is also directing it and starring.
Yeah, that is wild. Do you think every single character is going to get their own spin-off movie?
Yes.
Starring and directed by them?
Yes.
So Dave Bautista is going to get his own movie that he gets to direct. And
But it's solely about his time at the burger shop.
yeah.
And it's called Army of
figuring out-
Burgers.
Yeah, it'll be simply about like whether it should be a vegan burger or they're going to go,
Black
full,
bean, veggie,
mushroom.
gluten free,
I'd like a vegan, gluten-free keto burger, please.
an impossible burger,
That's right there as an impossible
Hold the burger?
You just said.
chicken burger.
And then also we know there's an anime prequel as well coming out.
Gotta fill that Castlevania.
We
void.
don't know that they haven't started on any kind of that hasn't started yet, right? It's just in development, I believe.
Honestly, no idea. I might look it up. We'll see.
While June's looking it up, Krishna, bold predictions for Army of Thieves and anime prequel. Do you have any? Knowing what little we know.
Yeah, well, knowing what little I know, I'll just go with the anime prequel because that sounds like it would be more interesting. My bold prediction will be that we will see the origin of the Zombie King. I think actually that's not even a bold prediction. That's probably a given. But I think that the beginning of his powers will be Super Soldier gone wrong. I'm straight up stealing yours.
That's really rude.
Yeah, but you let me go first so I can do that.
Damn. Okay.
It's like what's that Christmas tradition we get to steal other people's gifts?
Oh,
an elephant Christmas.
Is that what it is?
white
Christmas?
elephant is
White
what they
elephant.
call it?
Yeah, it's like that. I just stole yours because I go first.
So it doesn't say here if they've started production on it yet, but I would assume they have because they've cast everyone.
It's probably done.
A lot of people are returning, obviously from the movie. Dave Bautista,
to do their own voices.
yes,
Oh, that's cool.
but the main character is a character named Rose, voiced by Joe Manganiello.
What? Joe Manganiello, as in
Yes.
Deathstroke.
Yes,
Wait, for real?
yeah, he'll be the main character in this
But
show.
his name is Rose.
His name is Rose.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
All right.
The premise is officially revolving around the early phase of the zombie outbreak in Las Vegas. The series will center on Scott's origins, as well as he and his comrades' rescue efforts to save mankind. Rose serves as the protagonist.
So it's going to be basically the montage.
Maybe.
My bold prediction for both Army of Thieves and anime prequel is going to be we like the anime prequel way more.
Yeah, I think
feel like it's a given.
Yeah.
Especially if they maintain like the same, because Netflix obviously has kind of like an internal anime house now.
Yeah.
They maintain that same like Castlevania style.
Yeah.
I think it would work really well.
The nice thing about it is you won't have like half the shots going in and out of focus.
Yeah.
Because it's, why would you do that?
It's only supposed to be 6 episodes.
Unless Zack Schneider's the cinematographer on it.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
I need more rack focus. But why? Just do it.
Yeah. It unnerves the viewer. Yeah, because they're annoyed by it. Not for any
like good reason.
Yeah.
I like that. So that's my bold. June, do you have a bold prediction?
My bold prediction is that Rose will be our protagonist for the live-action sequel to Army of the Dead.
Wait,
whoa! So you're just jumping over
Joe
everything.
Manganiello lives and just doesn't appear in Army of the Dead.
Right. He's doing something else. He's separated from his group. They don't recruit him. Him and Dave Bautista hate each other for some reason. Maybe they're both in love with Maria, and she chose him.
No.
But then Dave was like, "No, I'm going to run away with burgers."
Better. Dave is actually also, Rose is also in love with Dave.
With Scott.
Dave. Yeah.
There you go. I like that.
Everyone's just in love with him and just randomly says, "Hey, I thought something was gonna happen."
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think you. I mean, it seems like probably Manganiello and Schneider obviously have a relationship, but I feel like it's a pretty high casting.
For anime.
Casting, and
Just for anime,
it seems like there's maybe an idea to have him more involved in the franchise, especially considering all of your franchise characters but one are dead.
Yeah,
for any type of sequel.
Well, sequel, but we could go
I guess
backwards.
two if you include the new alpha.
I mean, that's crazy. If it's truly been years between the original Outbreak and where Army of the Dead takes place, there's so much story you could tell.
Oh, no.
Why? I don't know.
Yeah, just
But you
for
could.
no reason. For zero reason.
For zero reasons. Kids, it's funny. You both said that we would wrap this in 20 minutes.
Wait, did Christian make his bold prediction?
He
Yeah.
did, but you weren't listening.
What was it again?
I stole his.
Yeah, he said that the Alpha was or is the Captain America
It's a super soldier
gone wrong.
That's what the origin is.
You know what's kind of cool, though, if it is a super soldier thing? So then you'll have your American zombie super soldier, and then sure enough, you'll have a Russian one. You'll have a European one, a penguin one.
What?
Penguin.
Antarctica is a country ruled by the penguins. Come on, guys, read a book.
Oh.
Idiots.
What?
A zombie penguin would be kind of cool, actually.
For life.
Do they really?
I think so. I think I read
Did you
that.
watch that on
was
Blue
actually
Earth?
they started to disprove that. Apparently, it's not true.
Shit.
That they.
Whoa, it's been
The one true loves of this world, and
Yeah,
it's not
there
true?
was like recent studies like while many of them do like mate for a long time, there have been more exceptions recently where they are not mating for life. That they are like us and
So they are getting divorced then.
divorced.
Wow, they learned from us.
I heard also penguins steal other couples like babies.
Their eggs.
Yeah, they
They're
still
like,
like they still yeah, they're like I want a
that's
kid,
dark.
and they steal them.
The fuck?
Penguins are they're crazy creatures. Let's do an army of penguins instead of Army of the Dead. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like that's been done.
Yeah, you're right. It's called March of the Penguins.
There you go. Great
Yeah.
film. Anywho, Krishna was
No,
I'm really.
Army of the Dead.
I'm shocked.
Good.
no, it wasn't.
I'm really shocked.
And I'm not even gonna. We don't even need to say why. Arjuna, was Army of the Dead good?
No, it was not good for literally all the reasons we stated over the last.
And more. We
however
can't
long
get to
was
all of
this
them.
pod. Just bad acting, bad story, bad CGI, bad marketing. Honestly, this movie I feel like
This snuck up.
It snuck up. Everyone's like, "Army of the Dead is out." I'm like, "What?"
The fuck is the Army of the Dead? I honestly didn't know about this movie until last week.
Which I guess it makes sense when you see the movie. While the marketing wasn't, the marketing push wasn't there.
That's true.
So I mean, Netflix though is notorious for not really marketing their stuff. They're just like, watch this and maybe like it.
Well, I think they're hoping the Stranger Things
they've had some
marketing
success,
kind of like picks up where it's word of mouth.
Right. I think
Right, Tiger King was the same thing. It was
Bridgerton,
all
yeah,
word of
those,
mouth.
those,
Yeah.
those type of things.
So they
really
may
were
pay
hits.
like more production and
Yeah.
post-production costs or whatever, or pre-production, but when it comes to marketing, I feel like they lack on that because they're thinking word of mouth is going to push.
Yeah, which it does.
But our word of mouth is saying, don't watch this.
Well, Ravi was Army of Darkness.
Oh,
Army of Darkness is a great film. Great film. Army of the Dead, I almost convinced myself to say yes.
When?
Well, how?
And in what world?
Yeah, and what parallel
Well,
universe?
when we were going through the DVD chapter listings, I was going back and I was like, if you minus like all the dying parts, and what you could do is just fast forward through it because you don't really need to listen, and it'll happen a lot quicker. Then it's kind of okay because like the intro's cool.
So skipping a third of the movie?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because like the intro's cool, some of the world building aspects are different, they're unique. There are definitely those pieces though, like the whole Maria, I'm in love with you, Scott piece was really
Maybe
stupid.
the most random aside in movie history.
I'm trying to decide if that's worse than Canto Bite or if that is the worst.
Well, it was shorter.
Definitely shorter, so it's winning there.
There you go.
Definitely winning
It wasn't
there.
an entire subplot.
Yes, that's also very true. But yes, I am going to say no, it was not a good film.
Thank God.
Was it better
kept your mind?
than Star Wars Episode 8?
Ooh. That's tough. I'm going to say episode 8 was better.
What? We have it on tape, folks. There
And
is
this-
Ravi's least favorite movie is no longer The Last of the Jedi.
The dead
The Last Jedi has never been my least overall favorite film.
Oh.
The Sky Captain: The World of Tomorrow is by far my least favorite film of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty
I've not seen anything that bad.
That was a truly horrible.
That movie
cinematic
put me to sleep
experience.
3 times.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that's going to do it for us here on the Was It Good podcast. We're going to get out of here. Somehow, we thought this was going to take 20 minutes.
And
did
it
not
did.
take that long. It took longer.
Real quick, Sahara Powell did ask a question. Will this movie become a cult classic?
No.
It depends on what happens with these prequels and sequels. It entirely depends on that. It also depends on Zack Snyder, and as he gets older, how much crazier does he get? Because we have seen it where directors or actors will kind of pop back into the spotlight and say something kind of bizarre, do something kind of bizarre, or recut something bizarre, and that incorporates or makes you go back and pick up on a movie. So entirely depends. I think Zack Snyder being who he is and with some time, maybe.
Certainly in that ballpark.
Yeah.
When he makes a Star Wars movie?
He'll never make a Star Wars movie.
I
Never
I
say
hope it
never.
happens.
Never say never.
It's never going to happen.
Never say never.
I think he does Star Trek before he does Star Wars.
Yeah, I could see Paramount
Okay.
being like, yeah, we come aboard, Smack. Come aboard.
But with that, thank you for listening. As always, we live stream our podcasts every Monday and Friday on YouTube/Was It Good. You can always find out what we're up to on Twitter at Was It Good, and you can look at what we're doing on Instagram at Was It Good BTM. Our next pod is going to be this Friday. Check out Twitter to figure out what we're doing because as of right now, we have no idea. It looks like
We will be doing Army of the Dead again.
no, maybe we'll do Army of Darkness.
Ooh.
Palette cleaner right there.
You've
we go,
already
there we
made
go.
the graphic.
I did.
You just have to add the image.
That's true. In fact, we did half of it like in this pod.
Yeah, we did. We did. Well, with that, thank you, and we will see you later.